Did you know the Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix was the first race held in the Middle East, and it also wasn't always a night race? The track is 5.412 kilometers long, and the drivers will be racing for a total of 57 laps for just over 308 kilometers in total. The lap record is held by Pedro de la Rosa in 2005 with a 1 minute 31.447. Lewis Hamilton is the most successful driver at the circuit with 5 victories, and those happened in 2014, 15, 19, 2020, and 2021. Ferrari is the most successful constructor with 7 victories, happening in the inaugural race in 2004, 2007, 08, 2010, 2017, 2018, and 2022. The past couple years, though, has been the Max Verstappen and Red Bull show, as they have won the past 2 races held there. Prior to that, in 2022, we saw Charles Leclerc win with Ferrari, and then of course it was Lewis Hamilton for the 2 years prior with Mercedes. The Bahrain Grand Prix normally produces a pretty great race, and that's in part due to the several overtaking opportunities that the track poses. The first one is turn 1, and that's really the best opportunity to overtake on the track. It's a very long straight with a DRS zone, and it goes into a tight hairpin, and it often allows drivers to kind of go back and forth, because then turn 2 is kind of the opposite, where the inside becomes the outside. So it's a really great opportunity for the drivers to kind of go back and forth with the battle. It requires late braking and great precision to be able to pull off the overtake there. Because turn 1 is such a great opportunity for overtaking, and then 2 and 3 also allow the drivers to kind of go back and forth on different lines, turn 4, which is the second DRS zone, also becomes a great opportunity for overtaking. Because from turn 1 the outside becomes the inside and inside becomes the outside, it allows drivers to take different turns and head down into turn 4 to try to get another sniff of an overtake. A less common used overtaking turn, but definitely a possible area, is turn 8, which is a really tight hairpin, and because it's that low speed hairpin, it does allow for some potential options for overtaking if there is maybe a car advantage, because the cars have to be extremely close to make it happen in that section. Turn 10 really isn't the primary overtaking spot, but we have seen some great overtakes from there, such as Fernando Alonso on Lewis Hamilton. It's one of the most challenging corners on the circuit, and I think maybe even in F1 in general. It's such a tricky braking zone. It's really off camber, and the drivers have to really balance braking and turning at the same time. Lastly, turn 11 is another good opportunity for overtaking with another DRS zone. It's just a little trickier because turn 11 is a wide sweeping corner rather than a tight hairpin, so it is a little trickier to beat the driver in the braking zone. The Bahrain Grand Prix poses several challenges to the drivers. One of those is the fact that it's in the desert, and oftentimes sand blows onto the track and it reduces grip and impacts tire performance. And of course it is a night race as well, so that affects the tire temperature, which affects the tire degradation and the strategy. As I mentioned with some of the turns like turn 1, the track has some really heavy braking zones, and we've seen a lot of failures in the past from cars due to the brakes failing, such as Mercedes in the turbo hybrid era. The Bahrain Grand Prix has had some pretty amazing and historic moments. It debuted in 2004, becoming the first F1 race in the Middle East. 2014 also saw the famous duel in the desert between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. It was one of the most intriguing battles for the win of a race that we've seen in Formula One ever, I would say. 2014 also saw the race become a night race, and that was really just as a celebration of the 10-year anniversary of the track. Since 2014, it has been a night race every year, and I can't imagine it going back from here on out. 2020 saw one of the most intense, crazy, and horrifying crashes in Formula One. We saw Romain Grosjean crash into the barrier and have his car completely split in half and go up in flames in an absolute fireball. We saw him thankfully walk out of that almost completely unharmed, and he just rose from the fire like an absolute phoenix, and it was absolutely insane. It was really miraculous that he made it out, but it was really crazy sights, and that track will forever be known for that moment. If you are a fan of the Bahrain Grand Prix, then lucky for you, the track is going to remain on the calendar until at least 2036, as it has secured a very long contract, so we'll be seeing it on the calendar for many years to come. So those are my fast facts for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of the track, and if you think it's going to produce another great race this year, and who do you think is going to win. Let me know down below in the comments. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time out for my race rundown of the Bahrain Grand Prix.